The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark.
Glory to you, O Lord.
In the course of his teaching, Jesus said to the crowds, "Beware of the scribes who like to go around in long robes and accept greetings in the marketplaces, seats of honor in synagogues, and places of honor at banquets. They devour the houses of widows and, as a pretext, recite lengthy prayers. They will receive a very severe condemnation." He sat down opposite the treasury and observed how the crowd put money into the treasury. Many rich people put in large sums. A poor widow also came and put in 2 small coins worth a few cents. Calling his disciples to himself, he said to them, "Amen, I say to you, this poor widow put in more than all the other contributors to the treasury, for they have all contributed from their surplus wealth, but she, from her poverty, has contributed all she had, her whole livelihood." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Bishop Robert Barron made the connection. I heard him say here a while back that you can tell a lot about a culture by the buildings they build. Right? So if you take like medieval Europe or something, Middle Ages Europe, you see gigantic cathedrals, just tons of detail and architecture and art put into these cathedrals to magnify God and glorify God, things like that. They were very, seemingly God-oriented if you were to judge by their buildings. So then take our, kind of current, last couple centuries U.S. culture, and you see a lot of skyscrapers, right? And what are these kind of stand out in our architecture culture, and what houses many of those skyscrapers are insurance companies and investment companies, right? That's kind of where our culture is very concerned about, being secure. Our future is secure, right? That we've got insurance companies to cover our rear end and investments to provide for the future, right? That's kind of where our attention is focused. I think we could agree, whether we are personally or not. Our culture definitely is. But yeah, that's kind of a false sense of security, honestly. And I think the kind of security that the Gospels, the readings today give us are the security of providence, that God will provide for us, right? And the widows in today's Gospel super highlight that. Here are the poorest of the poor in the entire society, and they are given all they have to the Lord, right? And it's fun. Even with the gal in, the Gospel who went to the treasury and gave just a couple cents. I don't see her just oh man, this is so hard to give my whole livelihood. It's kind of a joyful giving, is what I get when I kind of see that. She just gladly gave everything to the Lord. Probably because she knows that I'm completely dependent upon Him. And He has provided for me, and He continues to provide for me. Right? She has that experience and that confidence. Her security is in the Lord. I think we can all learn a lot from her. I sure can. That we're called to put our security in God, the Father, who promises to provide. He's done so in the past, to do so in the future. Sometimes to get there, it takes a little effort. It's not easy for us to give, right? And you see the rich people, they gave from their wealth, not necessarily their whole livelihood. We talked about that last week, right? God owns everything. It's not just 10%, it's all of it. It's His. How do I, serve Him with that perspective, that it's all His? How much do I use for myself? Okay, that's in the financial world. That is one aspect that I do have to work at giving of that surplus. The other one is just time. I think of, we want to cling to our time. I need it. I've got to get this done. But the church and the Lord Himself built in Sunday to help us be dependent upon God, right? It's a day we just stop, worship God like we're doing, but then all right, Lord, I'm just going to enjoy life, And then I'm also going to like trust that you'll provide for all the work I didn't get done and all the work I got to do. You know, he'll take care of it. He'll help us. And it's not like he does it. We still have to do it. But the fruit of this, you might call providential perspective, is that it just reorients our mind. Like all of a sudden life isn't so crazy. Like, yeah, God's got this. I can trust in him, you know. That's the fruit of it. It's not just this vain giving of everything. No, the fruit of it is, all of a sudden I'm peaceful because the Father takes care of me. He loves me, right? So we got to work at this. And the widow shows us some ways of doing that. Time and treasure probably are some of the tougher ones for us to surrender to God and trust in him. But I guess the fruit of a providential perspective, I would say, would be twofold. First, gratitude, and then generosity. Gratitude and generosity. These are the perspective that come from trusting in providence. That all of a sudden, hey, man, wow, everything is a gift. And I can't just give thanks like we're doing. And then all of a sudden, I'm more generous too. Like, hey, it's all been given to me. Why can't I give of it to others? And the more we give, the more we get. The more we love, the more we're able to love. Like it's an expansion of our lives, an expansion of our hearts. But we got to take those first steps that aren't necessarily that easy and actually give. Okay, and poverty of spirit. You know, whether we have, wealth or whatever, it's the disposition, it's the intentionality. Poverty says, everything I have is a gift from God, and he provides for me. He's a father, right? So I just feel like the widows in our readings today can help teach us how to get there. To give not from our surplus, but to give from our whole livelihood. Everything I have is a gift from God, right? That poverty of spirit, that it's all a gift. And the fruit of that is what I'd call a providential perspective, right? That I can go through life both with gratitude and generosity. Seeing that everything's a gift and then giving is a gift. Yeah, it's a very peaceful way of life that I know I need to work on. I feel like we all can probably stand to do so. Our culture today is want to be very secure in other things that aren't God himself. So we need to resist that and choose to trust in God.